iTechGear Weekly, episode number 157. Clippy says, Happy Holidays. Recorded live Sunday, December 21st, 2025, live from iTechGear Central. As I said, I'm Christopher Spera, the editor-in-chief here at the iTechGear.orgs. And joining us this week, we have the dulcet tones. They are in the house. It's the former or the current editor here at iTechGear.org and the former contributing editor at Gear Diary and the late great pocket now. It's Mr. Chris Gavula. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's been an interesting week, and
It has.
but we're here. We're back. We're good for the moment. Wrapping up our year end stuff,
Oh, yeah.
And part of that is talking with you guys.
That is true. That is true. And of course, we've got, the best. All right. It's the editor here at iTechGear.org. And of course, the former co-owner of WUGNET Publications. It's Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. How are you, sir?
The man with the amazing pop-up chair.
That's
it.
And the man who apparently can afford more honorifics than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Well, Clippy can just kiss my defunct word pad.
Yes, well, Clippy can kiss it all.
Although I do miss the cat.
Actually, WordPad did join Clippy, didn't it? Yeah.
It did.
It did.
But yeah, for us, I don't know. This is that season pre-Christmas where we have way too many get-togethers, neighborhood get-togethers,
Sure.
and parties, and we still have a couple more to go to and host.
Yeah,
and
me too. Yeah,
we're looking forward to the end of it. We're tired.
Are you tired?
Well,
yeah.
I totally get it. Unfortunately, Brother Joe McLaughlin is not going to be with us tonight. He is with family in the great state of Kentucky.
Actually, he's down here in Tennessee with me.
He's in Tennessee.
I won't get to see him, but
Okay.
he's probably about 40 miles from me right now, 35.
But I will say this much: if you're going to be gone, be gone for a really good, fun reason, not a crappy reason.
Right.
He is gone for a good reason. He's seeing family.
Spending, I believe, the holiday with his father and his brother and some family on his end. So that's awesome.
I hope you're having a great one, Joel.
He just sent a note earlier. He's watching football as we speak.
He was, and what a game it was. So, but thankfully for the Chicago Bears, the Steelers pulled it out in the end. Probably going to be talking about the end of that game for a long time over the next course of this coming week. You're going to be seeing replays of that whole mess, that train wreck.
The train wreck is right.
Oh, that game was off the hook there at the end. So anyway, I want to go ahead and I want to get us started this week. Our Apple segment is a little shorter, which is just fine. But and speaking of a little shorter and a little smaller, the foldable iPhone may be just a little bit smaller than we thought it might be. At least according to Gizmodo. Isn't that true, Larry?
That's true. And you know something, we all have differing opinions on this, but this just goes to show you where use cases and opinions and perspectives all come into play. If this is true, this is a huge reason for me to buy one of the damn things.
Sure.
Whereas most people would say, "Oh no, I want a great big phablet that I can fold up and use as a phone," and I don't. So I mean, it just goes to show you, if this is as small as they're saying it will be, I will probably fork over it.
It's going to be confusing because 2 weeks ago they were talking about this thing being more book shaped, like the Microsoft Surface Duo was, or the first generation Pixel Fold was.
Right.
This changes every couple of weeks, kids. This is just rumors until we see it.
Yeah, I kind of
we're a year out.
Actually, the majority of users probably would like to see the larger version of this. But anyway, a new leak claims that Apple's book style, as we were talking about, foldable iPhone that's supposed to come out in 2026 could be smaller than an iPhone 17 Pro, the little phone, not the big phone, when closed. So people, want big phones because they have large screens, bigger batteries,
Sure.
they last longer, blah, blah, blah. I get that. However, there is a new leak claiming that Apple's first foldable iPhone, currently rumored to launch, could be both the smallest iPhone since the Mini when it's closed. That would be interesting.
I think the bigger important thing for that thing is going to be what's its usable space when it's open is going to be it's because if it's more square proportionally like these current generation models, the Pixel Fold 10 or the Samsung Galaxy Fold 7, if they're like that, we've already learned that that's not quite as usable. In other words, because you chop off things. So if you want to watch movies on it, it's not much bigger than just watching it on your phone turned sideways.
Sure.
But if it's wider,
then
it's more interesting.
Yes.
So I'll be curious. So I'm not as concerned about the size as I am the kind of proportionality of it and what they've done.
Well, it may not bother you then because it sounds like it's going to be the same width, but shorter from top to bottom to me.
We'll see. We'll see what it could be. I don't know what they're going to do, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this thing. But if they don't get it close to the size of an iPad mini when it opens, they're going to, and that's big. Don't get me wrong. That's big.
And that is big.
And you know what? The other nut they're going to have to crack on this is how thin each half will be.
Yes.
I look at my iPhone Air, and if each side is as thick as the Air, it's still going to be a thick device.
It's going to be a thick device if that's what they do.
I don't know that that'll turn people on.
I've been hearing that they're actually able to go thinner than that, but we'll see what that really looks like when they do it. If they do it.
All right.
We don't know what they're going to do yet. Like I said, as Joel is fond of saying, we'll insert this since he's not here to say it for himself.
Yeah.
Right.
Until Skinny Timmy walks on the screen.
Sure. Absolutely. And that's the way that it always is, though.
Well, you guys have got had the Z Fold 7. Now, does it feel thin enough to you?
Yeah. But
I will tell you, at least from my perspective, folded up. All right, it's about the same thickness as the iPhone 15 Pro Max that I have. Right?
Really?
Yeah,
I would agree.
Is that thin?
It is and it isn't. The camera sticking out actually makes it a little thicker.
It is. But the body, the main body of the phone, all right, is about the same thickness as a standard smartphone. All right. Like I said, when it's folded up, right? It will be interesting to see. That thing is wafer thin,
and it's light. That's the other thing.
Very light.
It's an aluminum kind of body, so it's extremely light.
Yeah,
and it may not even matter because, as we all know, every year the demographics change. I mean, one year everybody likes thin.
Right.
Next year everybody wants something else.
And I would say the thing that was more important to me, the one thing I do like about the Z Fold 7, it isn't about it's lighter. To me, it's not really much thinner than the predecessors. It's a little thinner, but it's not a lot thinner. What it is, however, is light. It's physically lighter. Well, hang on, let me finish the thought. It's thin. It is a little bit thinner, but the point is, it's lighter, but weight wise than its predecessors, and it's better balanced, which makes it feel even thinner than it is because it's balanced very well.
Something.
The weight distribution is very well.
Weight's way more important to me. It really is because I sit a lot in a chair.
Oh, it's way light.
In front of a TV.
It's very light.
And that's why the Samsung Edge thing 26 is so popular for a few people because it's like paper. It weighs nothing.
Sure. It's a nice device. So if they can get it at that kind of thinness, I think we're fine. And near as I can tell, the iPhone Air is at a similar thinness point. So if there's two of them put together, it should be fine.
Yes, I would tend to agree. I think that this is going to be. I think the iPhone Fold is going to be insanely popular. I'm thinking
even at a high price, I think it will be. Strangely enough,
despite the high price, I think it's going to be insanely popular. I truly believe that it's going to be something that everybody is going to want, but I don't know that everybody is going to be able to afford it.
But let me put a big caveat on that, and I think this is an important one. It's going to be a big thing if they don't compromise its feature set too much, because I think they compromise too much with the iPhone Air. They need to compromise a little bit less.
Yeah,
maybe two cameras instead of one. Maybe So whatever. But the point is, if they don't compromise nearly as much, I think they're going to do better with it. I think people will pay the higher price if they don't feel they're compromising. They don't like the higher price if they feel they're compromising.
You know something Apple has done though, if you'll think back, just several models that they've come out with over time, they will let everybody think, and I think they drive this somehow with the press. They think, okay, we all think that this is going to cost about $2,000.
Yeah.
If they come out with an 1852 price tag, everybody will go, "Oh my God, I saved a whole bunch of money. I'll get it." And they only drop it $100, but it's below what we thought it would be.
And they've done that.
That's part of advertising.
But I think the pricing is only going to drive people away again if there are compromises. If there are no compromises, people will probably still go for it. No, even if it seems a little high.
Well, but look at, and to show you what features mean, look at this year, the 17 is selling better than any phone they got right this minute.
Yeah.
Because they bumped it up. They gave it everything.
They gave it features.
Gave it the promotion.
So you feel you got a better value proposition. That's what it's about. It's about the value proposition.
$799 phone, and the only thing you miss is that extra bit of ultra wide in the camera. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the two camera thing is fine. It's when they went down to the one camera that they I think they made a mistake with the Air. They should have stayed with the two camera in the base 17. That's what they should have done. But
well, I'm living proof. I thought I could live without it, and it is annoying.
Because you can fake the ultra wide stuff a lot with the other two cameras if you have it.
Yeah.
But you can't if you don't have that zoom. There's nothing you can do. You're done. It's all digital at that point. So I think if they don't compromise, I think it'll be a good machine. But we'll see what they come up with. So small or large, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you know what else is interesting? You know what else I thought was interesting? And this one, I know, at least for us in the pre-show, raised a few eyebrows, and caused us, to really kind of consider, how big of an issue is this? But I thought this was interesting. The court federal court's going to reconsider the App Store class action case that was recently dismissed.
Settled a while ago. Yeah,
2024.
Yeah, but it could be worth many Sagans, billions.
Many Sagans. But again, I think it looks like they're looking at it again based on a technicality, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I guess. So this is just another aspect of the cases that just won't die.
You got to feel for Apple from a legal perspective. I mean, you may hate them, but I mean, oh my God.
So the short form for this particular flavor of the week of this case, the reason they're relooking at it again is because they feel that maybe what was the way it was. There was this whole thing about it was dismissed as a class action. They were told they could file individually, but then they put it back on as a class action, but then dismissed that. And it's really those procedures that this is focused on,
right? Whether or not it could be a class action or not. That's what we're focused on now, not whether or not the App Store is right or wrong. We're not even at that point again. No.
We're just talking procedurally about whether it should be, a class action lawsuit or not. And it's coming back again.
Whenever you have a class action suit, that's the axe for any company. It's terrible.
True.
So apparently there is a 14-day window for the plaintiffs to go ahead and file an appeal on this particular issue, right? But it's not known how long the next steps after that will take.
All we know is that it's been going on for 10 years. It'll keep going on.
Yes.
That's what we know.
And this is really screwy. All right. This thing potentially could be worth billions. All right.
Could be.
Yeah. If the class is not certified, All right. And that would mean that Apple would win the point. All right. They would win the argument.
And it doesn't mean people can't sue. It doesn't mean people can't sue.
No. And that's where I'm going. Individually, plaintiffs could sue for probably a total of $270, and that's about it. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Otherwise, this thing could be worth billions, and then individuals may get more than $270 or less, depending on how many folks are actually end up getting certified in the class, right? So, and from a law firm perspective, this is the difference between a foul tip and a grand slam in the World Series, in Game 7 in the ninth inning, right? I mean, this could be, worth hundreds of millions of dollars to the law firm that's behind this for these plaintiffs.
Yeah, the problem I have with all of these kinds of suits, and I continue to have this problem with this one, is at the end of the day, the only people that really benefit from any of this are the lawyers.
The lawyers.
Nobody else.
Nobody else.
The end customer really doesn't get much, because by the time it gets solved,
the lawyer takes anywhere between 30% to as much as 40%, depending on how this whole thing came together, right?
Where, which state, what, how,
state, how much the law firm had to back the class, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And how much skin they've got in the game. It could be absolutely crazy. So, but again, it's the lawyers that win, and nobody else really.
I just find it completely pointless. They're wasting a lot of people's time and energy.
Right.
But
if you read, you guys need to go later on after the show, read some of the comments in this article.
I have been. It's interesting.
The one from Dr. DREB makes so much sense. He's saying exactly what we have said for years about this. People need to get off this. I mean, I'm not going there. It's just it's pointless.
There's a lot to be said.
Quit blaming Apple for making you millions of dollars.
Yes.
And you're effectively
only if you are a developer, all right, there is a cost to doing business. All right. You have to buy into the platform. In other words, you have to give Apple their due. All right, because you're on the platform. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to sell.
Right. In a nutshell, they provide the developer global distribution, financial services. They vet the buyers that are buying the apps. And the only thing that developer pays, whether he's a billion-dollar company or an indie developer, $99 per year. Now, yes, they pay higher percentage. They take higher cuts from the bigger ones.
If they make more than $1 million in sales.
But they still only charge them $99 to put their app up there.
Which means when you're starting, Apple basically sucks most of the cost of all of that.
Thank you.
So why are they not allowed to have a store and pay for the store and own and make some money from the fact that they have a store? I get, I think it's just insane. This whole
Well, you've got things like there are a number of different payer platforms that are out there for using credit cards to buy software, even if it's off somebody's own website. All right, they're still giving a cut to the guy that's going to process the credit card. All right.
Yeah.
If you have an issue with Apple taking their cut, then you should have a bigger issue with the payer platform that you're using to process credit cards on your own website.
What I would suggest people do as well is there's some stories out there about the deal that Apple has just made to resolve the Japanese store issues. Read those resolutions as opposed to what's happened in the EU and what's happening here in the US.
Yeah,
the Japanese stuff, it doesn't make any of the parties 100% happy. but it's a decent compromise for all of them.
And a story. I'm going to mention this. We're not going to get into it. All right, but even there, all right. The dipshit over at Epic, the CEO of Epic, that dipshit, all right, is still complaining that Apple is making money off of the App Store in Japan.
Read the stories, guys. That's what I'm telling people.
Yeah, one of these comments, honestly, is the best paragon ever. If you don't like somebody making a profit selling you groceries, go build your own garden and grow your own food.
Yes, and that's the only thing that I can tell you. If you don't like it,
leave.
You don't have to use it.
Yeah, nobody's making you develop for iPhone. Nobody's making you own an iPhone. Nobody's making you buy an iPad or any other kind of Apple hardware.
Theoretically, by the way, this lawsuit that we started talking about, this is on the consumer side of it rather than the developer side of it this time around.
Correct.
But, I don't think the consumers are really complaining but they're not. The consumers aren't really complaining about it the way that the developers.
No.
And it's not even most of the developers. It's a few developers that are really squawking and trying to keep this stuff alive. So here we go. Anyway. Don't we have something nicer and happier to talk about?
Potentially.
Yeah, we may.
Potentially. And that would be the new iMac Pro, or the potentiality for the iMac Pro to make a comeback.
That'll take all your credit cards at once to buy one.
Yes, more than likely.
Like the last one did, basically.
Well, yeah, this is going to start at $5,000.
Right. Now, yeah, and that's if true, it will probably start at $5,000. So this is supposed to be the new all-in-one iMac Pro with the M5 Max chip. All right, it's supposed to come out sometime next year, I think.
Before we get into to the actual product, what I don't understand is the use case of this computer. I have a friend who owns a graphics business. Actually, it's a girl that owns it. She has like 7 or 8 employees. They do a boatload of business. They have sold all their pros 2 or 3 years ago. They have nothing but high-end MacBook Pros and big monitors. That's all they use.
Yeah, so, I'm not sure.
What's the use case for this machine?
I've been saying this for a while. I know that there used to be graphic companies that like to have it all in one because everything was controlled, everything was calibrated, everything was all in one. It was all, they liked that. I kind of went, okay, it's really, really expensive. Couldn't I just put a loaded up mini or the studio instead, rather than dealing with this? It seems to me I have more flexibility with almost any other configuration. This has the least flexibility.
Right. It does have the least flexibility because it's an all-in-one, right?
It's an all-in-one, right?
It's an all-in-one.
But it doesn't let you take
all-in-one.
your stuff on the road to your client.
No, it does not. That's exactly true. I agree.
And that's what people do these days to get clients. So they don't make them come to them.
I don't think this has nearly the place that it used to have now that we're in post-pandemic world. I think people are much more mobile than they were.
Yep.
And I don't see this having we're not fixed in our offices like we used to be when the iMac Pro was a big deal.
With all the companies that are pushing for an RTO, a return to office, right?
Yeah. Maybe okay, but still, Larry makes a good point. You still have to go to the client, and you still have to run around. I mean, everybody he knows is still using a MacBook Pro with a good monitor,
right?
You're much more flexible that way.
Right, because you can pick it up and go where you need to go, right?
And
take your work home with you or whatever.
Work with you can take it home and work on the weekend or at night and do work.
Or whatever you need.
Productivity goes up, all kinds of good reasons.
I mean, but again, we always say this, it's all about use case. Just because it's not our use case doesn't mean it isn't somebody's use case.
True,
but I don't think that when they had the iPad, I keep saying iPad Pro, the iMac Pro before, did they actually sell that many of them? Wasn't it kind of a niche product?
No,
they did not. And
I didn't think so.
It wasn't a huge seller. Part of the problem was the price tag for this thing, right?
Well,
the iMac,
huge.
the iMac in and of itself is an okay seller. I wouldn't say it's a hot ticket item. All
I
right.
think it's actually gotten worse now that the iMac Mini got the Mac Mini got so good.
Well, then, there's also
because you
the
can buy
Mac
a good
Studio,
monitor for a couple
right?
$100 now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can get a decent monitor, whether it's a widescreen
Yeah.
or whether it's a 4 or 5K monitor for a decent price,
Well,
right?
you
Where you're
can
not
get way
spending
beyond into
thousands of
4K.
dollars.
You can get a 4K, under $200 now if you
Right.
really want to.
Yep.
You can
Right.
do that. Now,
You
there's
can.
compromises, but the point I'm getting at is you didn't used to be able to do that 5 or 6 years ago. Now you
No.
can.
No,
So,
and what's interesting is that, originally the iMac Pro launched in 2017, right? With a Xeon processor, and it had a
oh
27-inch
gosh.
5K display, and it started at, like Larry said, $5,000, right?
And there was a
Um,
32K version, a 32-inch version as well, wasn't there?
um, I
At one
I
point?
I
That
don't
was
know. I don't
no,
know.
no. You're thinking of the iMac Pro, are you?
I'm talking
Yeah.
You
about the
only had
iMac Pro.
20.
I'm
He's
talking about
talking about
the
the iMac Pro.
right.
Yeah.
The iMac Pro came out in 2017 with a Xeon
27 inch,
processor.
27-inch was as big as it ever was.
Okay.
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 Because
Awesome.
I
All right.
almost got one. I never
Right.
did.
And I know that Leo originally got one and initially liked it, but he felt very limited by it at the end before he kind of
Yeah.
shipped it off
It
to
lasted
somebody
three
else
years.
at
Three
the
years was
office,
end of life.
you know. Um and they ended up killing it in 2021, all right,
Yeah.
without any follow-up version.
No.
All right. So now they're talking about bringing it back with the M5 Pro Max, right? Or the M5 Max, right?
And I have heard rumors of a 32-inch coming out with this version. I have
Okay.
heard rumors that as a possible option.
Right.
But
Right. Bloomberg is saying a report from Bloomberg in 2022 said that if there was another one that was going to come out, there may be a 27 as well as a 32.
okay, fair enough.
All right. So um anyway, um the I don't know. I don't know, but between you, me, and the wall, if you're looking for a high-powered Mac desktop, all right, and you could probably do better either in a high-end Mac Mini or even a high-end Mac Studio. And I think you would be
Yeah.
better off there than you
But the
would be with
argument
this.
today is you can put almost as much into a Mac Mini now as you can put in a studio. So why
Yeah.
would you want to have? And there are rumors that the studio is eventually going to go away.
Well, and if you really want the flexibility, you can honk up a
Oh,
a MacBook Pro pretty well,
Oh,
what,
absolutely.
and just hook it to a monitor.
$7,500 worth.
But your point is you can get a decent powered one and hook it to a decent monitor and still have flexibility to get on the road.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't think we're in the same world where we were the last time that thing was around. So, I don't see it. It might make a comeback, but I just don't see it being the thing.
I still say Apple's no different than other people. They probably started this rumor to see what the demographics said about it. And if everybody says, I don't want one, they won't ever make it.
Yeah, that could be. That could well be.
Very, very true. And I wouldn't put it past them because that's actually kind of
No, I mean,
smart.
that's not underhanded. That's just
It's smart.
smart.
Clippy says,
And what does Clippy say? Happy holidays.
Clippy says happy
Clippy
holidays.
says happy holidays. Ak. So let's go ahead and move over to our mobile Linux segment. We've got a little bit of bad news just to kick this little thing off. If you've got a Roomba vacuum or mop, you've probably heard this one already. The company's filed for bankruptcy after 35 years. The company has filed for Chapter 11. In the District of Delaware as of Monday the 15th, right? According to the filing, iRobot, the owner of Roomba, has estimated assets between 100 and 500 million dollars. And they are struggling with increased competition from lower priced rivals and surging U.S. tariffs. So they're I don't know if you want to call this a victim of said tariffs, but these things ain't cheap.
Irrespective.
They ain't cheap to begin with. All right.
Yeah.
The decent ones, start at about $700-800. All right. For a decent vacuum. All right.
And there are limitations to how they work and where they work and all those kinds of things. There are challenges. So I
There
get
are.
It's hard. I mean, when you can get a vacuum cleaner for under $200, a regular vacuum cleaner for under, I can see why it's a challenge for folks.
Yeah, my wife and I bought one probably about 5 years ago. All right.
Okay.
And she absolutely positively loves it because she can go ahead and, before we go to bed, she can start the thing off. She can arrange the furniture the way that she wants, the furniture to be arranged, put the chairs on top of the table, pick up the dog gate, put it on top of the table, and then start this thing off and let it do its thing. And it will either get stuck in the middle of the night or be done by the time we get up in the morning.
Doesn't have to be
But
emptied
it's
a couple
never
of
done.
times.
It'll empty itself.
It's
It'll
never
empty
done a
itself.
corner.
Gotcha.
Never
Yeah.
done a corner.
No, those things, they're round and they don't fit into a corner real well. The
No.
only problem that I have with these things is that the parts do wear out and their replacement parts are not exactly what I would consider to be the cheapest things in the world. All right.
I've also found that they do a better job on those, like I'm going to call them fake wood tile
Hardwood,
floors.
some sort of non-carpeted
do,
floor.
They don't do
Yes.
as well on carpeted floors. But the thing is, more houses were built with more of those kinds of floors,
Yeah.
like we used to have.
Yeah.
Now you can't buy a new home with carpet in it anywhere. Not a room.
No. So it's a trend and it's lined up with that trend. But I still think that it's not. I don't know. I've never found the value. Again, the value proposition was never good enough for me. So
Me either.
Right.
Never ever owned one.
Right. So, according to the company, the company,
they're done.
Roomba is done, but iRobot will continue to operate during the Chapter 11 transition.
Ah,
All right. And then I believe that the company is going to end up being sold, and
okay.
it will continue on effectively
Well,
as
so do these things call
iRobot,
in?
right?
Do these things call in, and will they keep working if the
From what
company
I
goes under?
understand, they do phone home. All right.
Then
From
won't
what I
they stop
understand.
working? The ones you have?
Well, the company's not supposed to close. Okay, according to Gary Cohen,
Okay.
the CEO of iRobot.
But
Today,
worst case, what if they did?
Well, then
Talk
you
to me about the
probably
technology of it.
then your cat is going to be very, very upset because it's not going to end up being the king of the world any longer as it rides around on top of this thing going from room to room. All right.
Well, that'll make him unhappy.
Yes. Well, poor Teddy. But according to, like I said, Gary Cohen, the CEO of iRobot, today's announcement marks a pivotal milestone in securing iRobot's long-term future. The transaction will strengthen our financial position and will help deliver continuity for our customers, consumers, customers, and partners. So, like I said, it's supposed to continue on, and it's supposed to. I thought that the company was actually going to end up being sold, so or at least spun off.
But you know what that does? That makes this announcement just sound like an excuse or a rationalization for a transaction they already wanted to do.
Yep.
Potentially. Yeah.
That's what it smells like. Just sorry.
Potentially.
That's how it's being presented anyway.
Well,
okay.
I wouldn't be surprised with anything at this point.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But
okay.
Tis what it is. So
yeah, I gotcha.
Right.
Oh, nice.
And speaking of company-based transaction, there's another sale of another company. TikTok has actually the conglomeration headed up by Oracle and a bunch of other folks. ByteDance is ending up selling. They've signed a deal to go ahead and divest its U.S. operations to a U.S. venture-controlled organization controlled by American investors. And according to the Associated Press and Reuters, TikTok's CEO Xiaozi Chu said in a memo that the deal should close on January 22nd.
Yeah.
And Oracle, Silver Lake, and MGX are named in the reports as the three big investors in TikTok US, which is TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC, which is the new controlling US based company.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too thrilled with Oracle being in control of this stuff.
No.
For a variety of reasons. I don't think Oracle has been the best steward of some of the technologies that it owns or controls.
I'm more worried about the way they're going to handle the data.
Well,
And what
I
they're going to
agree,
do with it.
and there are. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole too far, but there are political concerns with this particular group being in charge of this particular set of transactions. But you know, I think there probably would have been no matter who those people were, quite honestly.
And
But
that's
but
there
there are concerns. So I'm not thrilled with this deal on any front.
I'm not
But
even thrilled with the company personally.
but
I'm just not.
I guess okay, they're doing something. Okay, but uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm with you, Chris. I don't know what they're going to do with the data. I don't know. I read the descriptions, and it still doesn't seem. I guess when I read the description of the transactions, my thought was, okay, but how does this actually still protect anything? It doesn't read like that to me.
It's well, at least according to the current administration, it gets China out of the U.S. based data. All right,
theoretically, but if you read the way it's written, it doesn't necessarily do that. So we hope it does that. But the question is, there's no conversation about how you gonna verify this? How you gonna how you gonna be sure that it actually
Are there
happens?
going to be audits for this, like there are?
There's no conversation about that.
There was no conversation or anything that I saw about any kind of verification on how they're going to ensure that China is out of the.
And that's going to be, and that's a problem, because I don't think there's any mechanism for that in this deal, and that's part of my concern. So. Okay, assuming there was really a problem to begin with, we could all argue whether or not there really was a problem.
That's right. We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. You don't know.
We know what everybody claimed, and that's all we know. So, okay, here we go.
I agree. I have no idea what's going to happen with this or how things are going to end up.
Yeah, we don't know. Till it does its thing, we don't know. You're right.
But this does prevent a ban, number one. For those US based
for you kids doing your dance
contest,
here you go.
Right. For those US based content creators, all right, there shouldn't be any kind of downtime or interruption in service or revenue on their part.
True.
All right. And everything should continue to work seamlessly. They shouldn't really see any kind of blip or problem with their content or what they do. So the shit that you buy from the TikTok shop is still going to come from China. All right.
and your little dance routine will still make the Chinese government some money.
Some money in some way, shape, or form. Yes.
So there you go.
But anyway.
Okay.
There
we go.
On a happier front.
So yay.
Oh my goodness.
All right. And on a happier front, those folks that are more Android than iOS will notice that the Google Assistant is going to be retired and replaced by Google Gemini sometime in 2026.
So does that mean it will then be Hey Gemini?
I don't know if it's going to end up being Hey Gemini or if it's still going to be Hey G or whatever. All right. But from what I understand, the switch to the Google, the switch and remains an option in the Gemini app.
I've read the article. I don't see anything in it. It says
right. So
yeah, I didn't see anything going on there, and they've been talking about this for a while and setting up for this for a while. So this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, that it's coming.
Right. So yes, I mean, as part of our if I didn't announce the mobile Linux segment, we're in the thick of it now, but I thought I did. Anyway, this is going to be something that's supposed to take place after the start of the new year. And
I suspect it's going to be a rolling kind of thing, because the reality is, won't they have to release updated versions of Android for this to take effect? So it's going to depend on the carriers.
Right.
It's going to depend on the
first of all, this is going to
manufacturers.
start with the Pixel 10, right?
Of course it is.
All right. It's all going to start with the Pixel phones, right? And it's starting with the Pixel 10 series, right? And that's going to be the Pixel 10, the Pixel 10 Pro, the Pixel Fold, Pixel 10 Fold, and the any sort of A series or whatever kind of
the S's in the middle and all that
mid-range devices that they come out with in the 10 series, right?
Sure, the mid-year stuff, yeah.
Yes.
Well, guess who came up with the answer to that question we just asked?
Gemini?
ChatGPT.
Okay. Well, what does ChatGPT say, Larry?
In fact, they will
What does the competition say?
The competition says that the Google Assistant will keep its wake words that it has now. Google plans to add Hey Gemini as an additional wake word.
Okay.
Now, what they'll probably do, knowing Google, they'll add that for 6 months, and then they'll shut down the original Hey G.
Sure.
I'll bet you money.
Well, you're
Larry,
probably right.
And Larry, how many people's phones do you think you've triggered by saying this now?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know. Don't care.
Yeah.
Don't know. Don't care. Here you go. Nice. Oh my!
All I'm going to say is, if you're on Android, Gemini is going to be the assistant that you want eventually.
At least they have a plan. That's more than Siri has.
Siri has a plan, but shh, it's a secret.
We're not talking about it.
We're not talking about it right now.
Right.
but
wrong segment.
The thing is going to be interesting with this migration to Gemini will it actually be across the board? Because unless all these versions of Android, the newer versions, yeah, but on the older versions, are they going to get it? Are they going to still be on the old? I don't know. They usually get left behind.
Samsung's going to have their own version of an AI, right? And will Gemini
I don't know.
end up powering Bixby, or will it be available on your Samsung device?
Or will it all go away?
Or will it all go? Yeah,
who knows? That's a very good question.
Don't know.
But
it's same thing.
But there's still changes. Yeah. Okay.
But this will be something to at least look forward to. I think Gemini is is going to be a better all around assistant than the current Google Assistant. I think it's just going to come. I think it's going to come together. Come together better. And I think what you're going to see on the Google end of things will also eventually, not right away, but eventually end up appearing in the Apple version. Whenever they get it together. But
I'm hoping. I am hoping there's still a lot of things that we're missing from Gemini that the assistant did that Gemini did not do, and I hope they get all that cleaned up before they do this cutover. Otherwise, people are going to be missing some features. They could be missing some features that they're used to, or they'll just get told we're not supporting it anymore. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Right.
But they have been adding some things, so let's hope that they keep doing that.
Yes.
So there you go.
And speaking of Android attacks.
Oh goodness, Well, we talk about Android attacks and Apple attacks quite honestly all the time.
Google has confirmed that there's no fix for 30% of all Android phones, at least according to reports.
Wow.
Well, yeah. So there's a series of current attacks going on. I think the worst ones are the ones that have been going against. We're going to call them high profile people, politicians, journalists, some other folks like that have been attacked on all platforms. Quite honestly, but the Android attacks have been a little more consistent and serious and whatnot. And the response has been very mixed from Google and from the manufacturers. It hasn't been as solid a response as what Apple's done on their side. But the point I'm getting at is that they're now saying, Google is now basically saying, look, there are 30% of the Android phones that are out there today that are going to basically be running versions of Android that aren't going to get fixed. They're just not going to get fixed. Yeah. So they're basically saying if you're on Android 13, 14, 15, and 16, a lot of these current, we're just talking about current attacks right now, they'll get fixed. If you're running on 12 or older, you're probably SOL.
You might be, yeah, I was just going to say, you might be out of luck.
If you're running that, you need to buy a new phone anyway. Come on.
Well, all right. So the current version is 16, right? If you're four versions of Android back, you might want to seriously consider whether or not sticking with that
hardware is going to run out pretty soon.
But the problem, Larry, is with Apple, what's going to be available because it's always available back as far as it is. They'll say beyond this version, you got nothing, you got to upgrade. Right. On Android, it depends on your manufacturer. It depends on your carrier. So you don't always know, are they going to release an update or not? Are they going to give us a patch or not? So just because they say 13, 14, 15, 16, that doesn't mean that everybody that has an Android 13 phone is going to get these updates. They might not. Depends on their carrier. So it's a little bit scarier for them because they don't know. So you can't just say wholesale, well, you got to upgrade. Well, maybe you got to change carriers or change manufacturers that you're using too while you're at it. So it's a little more complicated a problem for them. But 30% is what they're saying are likely never going to get fixed. That's disappointing.
That it is disappointing because even though you may be on a phone that's running Android 12, I mean that phone is only 4 years old. All right.
Yeah.
At the youngest, right? It's only
at the youngest.
It's 4 years old, and that phone ain't that far back. All right.
No, it's not.
All right. That's a 2021 based phone. All right. And I know that there are some folks
in perspective, a 4-year-old iPhone has no problem at all.
Absolutely.
Right. And so it's a challenge.
The latest operating system.
Right. Both my boys are either running an iPhone 12 Pro Max or an iPhone 13 Mini, right?
I know people still on 11s and 12s, and they're still getting their updates and they're still functioning and they're still perfectly happy. So this is disappointing to me but to be fair, again, the market's much more complicated. Just because Google puts out a release doesn't mean you're going to get a release, so it's hard. It's a hard mix of things to guarantee that you're going to get it. So 30%, it's disappointing, but I don't ever see those figures getting a lot better. I just don't.
Right.
Just be careful when you pick a vendor, when you pick a manufacturer. Android offers a lot of very cool stuff, but you got to be careful with what you're getting. You got to be a little more alert to what you're getting.
Right.
That's all.
And you're typically, if I'm not correct me, you guys use Android now more than I do, but if you stick with one of the big three, you're better off than being with an NVMe or something, right?
Being Google, Samsung, and whom?
No, I'm saying, you're talking about the manufacturers.
Right.
Yeah,
You still have the carrier upgrades to deal with too.
Well, you're talking about carriers. Yes.
They have a say. I mean, they could say, no, I'm not going to do
it. They can and they do, and their layer gets in the middle of this too. But really, like Chris just sort of said, the big one is probably the manufacturer more than anything else.
Well, then goodbye Samsung, and you'll probably be safe.
Right.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah. See, and I would probably say that if Android is your thing, I would probably give, and you're looking, and you've got an older phone, and you're looking to do something. My suggestion would probably be either to go after an unlocked Google,
or
Pixel, a Google Pixel, unlocked Google Pixel, or an unlocked Samsung.
And it doesn't have to be the flagship model either.
No. But to buy it directly either from Google or from Samsung.
If you want your patches, if you want your patches up to date, Google is your only choice, really. Because everybody else is going to be behind.
Yeah. Because they got to wait for them. As an example, Android 16's been out for how long?
A while now, at
All
least
right.
on
So
Pixels it
so
has.
just today, I don't know exactly when it came out, but the Android 16 version for the OnePlus Open I installed today. All
Oh,
right.
did it finally come out? I hadn't seen it
And
yet.
it is the November 1st patch release. All
And we've
right.
been waiting for that for a long time.
Yes. All right.
I didn't even know it was out. Thank you.
You're welcome. But my point is, even that's an unlocked phone, right?
Yeah.
That's an
Oh, yeah.
unlocked phone. Anything from OnePlus in the States is unlocked, and um, it's very and there you go, and very it's a very good phone, but it
It
still took
is,
them forever to release that particular update.
especially in the US, by the way.
Yes. Yes, I mean, if you're in India, if you're in India and your vendor of choice is OnePlus, you're probably getting it, PDQ, right?
Yeah.
Just as quickly as you would say an iPhone
But
or an
I have
Apple
to say,
update.
I've been a little disappointed of delays in Samsung releases this last year or
Yeah,
so. They've been a little slower than they used to be,
they
but
have been.
you
They
know,
have been.
but still
So
better than most.
agreed.
If you want to release or an update every month and you want it quickly at the end of the year, you're still better off getting a Pixel.
Yeah,
And that's my point, is that
yeah.
if you want to keep it the most secure and the most up to date, you're probably better staying with an actual Google Pixel, an actual,
Yes, by far, you will be much
if
better off
that's what you're
with a
focused
Google
on,
phone.
you'll be happier with that.
Yep,
So
yep. Um,
okay.
all right. So moving.
Speaking of happy,
So moving on, this one was
there's
in
some
this
people
next
who aren't
thing.
happy.
Well, yeah,
Oh my
some people in
goodness.
San Francisco, especially, were not happy. Um,
Yeah.
while dodging some stuff on the sidewalks in San Francisco.
What
Um,
about the people in those things? What happened? Oh my God.
you may actually end up dodging broken down Waymo based driverless taxis because apparently something happened. They blacked out and they've all been
So
dead in the
there
water
was
in San
well
Francisco.
there was a power outage in San
In
Francisco,
Frisco, a
in part of the
major
city.
power outage. Yep.
Yeah, they had 400,000 or 500,000 people without power, and all the Waymos stopped. They just stopped.
Right where they were.
And there's still no explanation as to why it happened. We know of the power, but the point was, why did it kill all the Waymos? Why is there no intelligence built in so they can still function or at least pull themselves
Well,
properly?
are
But
they
they
running
stopped.
on local Wi-Fi or do they have cellular
I
connections?
don't know the mechanism for it, but I don't think it's that. I don't think it's the connection about whether it could be whether it's Wi-Fi. I think I'm going to guess it's cellular because Wi-Fi is spottier in most cases.
Yeah, they
But I think
can't.
the bigger problem is what was going on in the central data center that controls these things,
It's got to be
and
off satellite. Yeah.
why do they have to talk to a central data center to just do some basic navigation? Why can't they? Why is that stuff not built on
Why are they
board?
not autonomous and
Yeah, they're not
independent?
really. So that makes you go, well, wait a minute. What exactly is the model you're using to do what you do here? Because
Yeah,
clearly, I mean, these things weren't even pulling themselves over to the side. Apparently, they were just stopping where they were
right
in
in
the
the
middle of
middle of the
intersections
street. Yeah.
and just blocking things and caused major traffic jams throughout the city. Really? This is the future? Yay. you know.
I
So,
thought they had a better handle in this
well,
in what Tom Cruise
you
movie was that?
yeah. But right now, I've seen a lot of stuff in the last few months, especially about Waymo versus what Tesla is doing in terms of the robo taxi space, and neither one of them seems to have it right, kids. I've got news for you. Neither one of them seems to quite have it nailed down. It's going to be an interesting few years, but I don't know. Personally, you couldn't pay me to get into one of these things at this point.
Yeah.
No.
I don't care whose it is.
Yeah, no. They did it much better in Minority Report, but according to Suzanne Fillion, who is the spokesperson for
Yeah.
Waymo, all right, service had been temporarily suspended due to the power outage, and they were focusing on keeping their riders safe and ensuring emergency personnel have the clear access that they need to do their work. I wonder though if anybody was in those things, whether or not they could even get out.
That's a good question, but quite honestly, her statement is kind of content free. It really is. It really doesn't say anything helpful or useful.
No.
So, but they still haven't said why it happened. Again, we know there was a power outage, but why did the power outage make these things not be able to function?
Right. So the story on Gizmodo that we're citing here was published today, the 21st of December, right?
And it happened last night. Yeah,
and it happened last night, and so that would be Saturday night, the 20th, right? And as of Sunday morning, the 21st, there wasn't any update from Waymo on whether or not the company's taxis were still out of commission, or what caused the problem in the first place.
Apparently, a Waymo communicates with what they call their Fleet Response Center.
Okay.
At which point there are humans working, but the cars themselves don't talk to the humans. The humans can intervene, but they can only do stuff if the car has power. So if the cars didn't have power, I don't know.
But the cars had power. That wasn't the problem because the cars are self-powered. They're electric vehicles.
Right.
But that isn't what killed them. But the point the lack of communication is what killed them. The question is, why is there no logic built into the car to at least get it off the street or something?
Why did
something happens?
Right.
Well,
if they lose communication, why don't they just pull
wrong
over?
Then, because according to what I'm reading here, Chris, this says that the operators, in the case of an emergency situation of any kind, the operators in the Fleet Response Center may intervene via remote guidance and move the Waymos out of the way if they are in trouble.
Yeah, but that would assume that they didn't. But they didn't.
That would tell me something went wrong with the actual signals rather than.
I would agree. Something happened with the networking or with the with the data center itself. I mean, you don't know.
It all boils down to what you said. I'm not getting in one.
Yeah, I'm not getting in one.
Nope.
No.
Well,
nope.
No, and I know they're trying them in more cities, but I'm sorry. I guess I'm a Detroit kid. I'd rather drive myself anyway.
I would rather be in a taxi with a, jacked up, high out of their mind Jersey taxi driver, than to be in the back seat of a driverless taxi that just that had absolutely no human connected to it, unless they actually had to, somebody somewhere has to go, oh, I need to go and do something with Chris's taxi because Chris is in trouble, right?
Yeah.
Or this particular taxi is in danger or has got a problem or whatever, and then they've got to go and get to it before something happens. I mean, that's crazy.
I know there's an element of trust that if you're going to ride in something like that, or if you're going to drive in a Tesla, whatever, you're going to have an element of trust. I have a friend who does. He's on his second Tesla. They just came out. I mean, I'm only mentioning it's applicable. They just came out with a new upgrade on the later versions like his. He can get in that car and say, drive to Oswego, Illinois. After 2 days visiting my friend Chris, we're going to take a trip to San Francisco to this address. And then we're coming back to the grocery store here where I live. It will do all that from that point on. You say
as long as the semi doesn't left turn in front of you.
That's true.
Because apparently it doesn't know what to do in those cases. Well, I'm sure they fixed that. I'm sure they've corrected that. Yeah.
If you buy into that stuff, you're good on you.
Yeah, I can argue with some of the problems with the technology behind their self-driving. Like it's camera based. They don't have any of the backups like other self-drive technologies have. But there's some mechanical questions as to how they did what they did. They did it on the cheap in some cases. So I wouldn't trust one anyway. But it is.
Let me just say this: as of 7:12 p.m. Eastern time tonight.
Did we get an answer?
Things apparently are back.
Okay.
According to a quote unquote Waymo spokesperson, all right, they provided the following statement: "We are resuming ride-hailing service in the San Francisco Bay Area. Yesterday's power outage was a widespread event that caused gridlock across San Francisco with non-functioning traffic signals and transit disruptions. While the failure of the utility infrastructure was significant, we are committed to ensuring our technology adjusts to traffic flow during such events. Throughout the outage, we closely coordinated with San Francisco city officials. We are focused on rapidly integrating the lessons learned from this event and are committed to earning and maintaining the trust of the communities we serve every day," which is effectively nothing.
So basically what you're saying is they now went from Waymo no go to Waymo now go.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure I understand.
To Waymo go. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So
weigh me up before you go. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great song.
Yeah. Because otherwise Waymo go wham. Anyway, on that note.
Oh, we're digressing.
And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and move us to our Windows segment, but right after this brief message. Hi, this is Christopher Spera from iTechGear.org and the iTechGear Weekly, and I want to say 5 years. We've been at this for 5 years, and boy, we could really use your help. I know that you've probably been listening maybe for a week or two now, and you've heard me say this more than once. If you feel like you're getting something out of this particular podcast, boy, we really would appreciate a donation of any size, of any type, of any kind, for as often or as just a one-off as you feel called. This is all done on my personal dime. I've never taken any kind of money for this, not because I didn't want to, but because we haven't reached enough people yet. However, we're doing our best to expand our audience. We've had folks like Paul Thurrott from Windows Weekly, Chris Perillo from Locker Gnome, from Vibe Coding fame, from his personal Twitch channel. If you're familiar with Chris, then you know he's a nut and is a great guy to have on the show. We've had Todd Ogasawara from the Mobile Views podcast, and a few other folks that I've got lined up just waiting to get on the show. We are doing our best to make this show one of the absolute best that you can find on the internet. And $1, $2, anything that you can spare for as long as you can spare it would be wonderful as far as we're concerned. I'm not going to belabor this, but hey, we would really appreciate your support. And if you feel called, you can go ahead and make a donation to Chris at iTechGear.org. As I said, this is all coming out of my own pocket. So anything that you can go ahead and send us would be greatly appreciated. On behalf of Brother Joe McLaughlin, Mr. Chris Gavula, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin, and myself, I'd like to say thanks. And now let's get back on to the rest of the show. And welcome back to the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 157. Clippy says happy holidays. And I want to go ahead and move us to our Windows segment. But unfortunately, brother, as I said earlier, Brother Joe McLaughlin, who usually mans the sound effects board, is not here.
Let me fix this for us.
Yes.
Insert Spanish fly here.
Thank you.
Insert wheel spin here.
Here.
Thank you.
Good coding.
Yeah. Not the same.
/B unslash.
Yes. Thank you. Not the same. So
yeah, it doesn't work. Okay.
So this is actually the last episode of the year. I think for 2025, and so this is therefore going to be the last Mistake-a-Thon, Microsoft Mistake-a-Thon for 2025, and we've got a bit of a doozy.
But it's important because
it is. This will put a lot in perspective.
Well,
it really
but the Microsoft Mistake-a-Thon has really defined our 2025 in a lot of ways.
Oh my God!
I'm serious.
You know, it really has. And so to sum this up, it's going to be interesting because
yes, bigger idiots have never come out of Redmond besides Microsoft, especially in 2025. And it makes us sort of beg the question: did Microsoft do anything right in 2025? And
that's a reasonable question. It really is.
PC World has an answer, right?
So before we do that, I mean, yeah, we're banging on Microsoft for the right reasons, but all three of us, and Joel included, even though he's not here, before Apple, there was Microsoft for all of us, but it was a different Microsoft. So
it was.
I look back at all the times this year that we've spun the wheel for Microsoft blunders.
Yes.
I actually found of the 14 things of major things that Microsoft did in this calendar year, I found 2 good things, and the rest we're going to talk about. So what I've got is a list of 4. I'm going to read nothing but the title, and we can talk about them later. But quickly, I'll run through these 14 things. I'll either say win, fail, or WTF, which for all intents and purposes is a fail.
Yep.
So number one, Xbox Game Pass price hike, fail. Your PC,
absolutely.
Your PC might not run Windows 11's 26H1 update, fail. Windows 10 falsely says your PC has reached the end of support, fail. Microsoft policies come under heavy fire, WTF.
Yeah.
AI search by Microsoft, fail. AI exhaustion to the nth degree, and Microsoft's Copilot face saying, "Hi, I'm Copilot. I'm here to help," fail. Microsoft recall. Do you want to try that? Really? That's a fail.
No, that's a WTF.
And a fail. Yeah, right. Windows 11 2025 improvements. What do we think that is?
No, that's a fail.
Windows 11 Insider Program, the whole thing has blown up, has it not, Chris?
Failed. It is an absolute dumpster fire.
Copilot Plus PCs, that's the fancy version of the higher end PCs with Copilot built in it, that everybody says, why do I have to have that key on it? I don't understand. Fail. Now, Windows 10 transition, they did move from 10 to 11 smoothly. It was planned. It was one of their rare wins this year, I think.
For the people that actually switched.
For the people that switched. Right. For the people that did end up switching, yes.
Right. Their handheld Xbox, another fail.
Yes.
Microsoft deserting their Surface program after all these years. WTF big time, I think.
Yeah.
Not that they don't make good devices still, and they probably will, but we'll talk about that later. Now, one thing they did really well, and I don't know how they did number 14 in light of the other 12 or 11 things that they screwed up. They made a boatload of money this year. How did they do that?
They didn't make it on the desktop space. Yeah,
subscription fees.
Subscription fees, I guess. Yeah.
And services like Azure had nothing to do with desktop.
Well, yeah, that's the commercials. Yeah, right.
Their money was not in desktop, that's for sure.
No, the shareholders are happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because they're using Mac.
No. Some of these things I don't understand.
I don't either.
I will tell you. I mean, if you really want to go up to the whole thing with the Xbox Game Pass price hike, they went from $20 a month to $30 a month and didn't say a word to anyone.
Nothing. Your credit card just took it.
It just absolutely the price not $20 last month, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere $30.
And along that, before you go off that topic, let me tell you the honest way to do that. Google has just raised their price of Google Workspace for most of us.
Yep.
$1 a month per user. I've gotten 15 emails about that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
At least they're telling me. And they're telling me on my main mail, my backup email, everywhere.
I've had some people tell me that Microsoft did in fact notify people of this Xbox price increase.
No,
I didn't see it. I didn't
No, they
get
didn't.
it.
No, they didn't.
So I don't know who got it because it sure wasn't me.
Wasn't me either.
I just got my credit card hit and I went, what the heck is this crap?
Absolutely. Yep. I mean,
but I immediately canceled it, by the way, and I think a lot of people did.
Yep.
Yeah. So I downgraded. So
I just canceled. I said I don't need this. I'm done.
Yeah.
You pissed me off too many times, Microsoft. You're done.
Yep.
Yeah. $20 was an okay price, but to bump me an extra $10 a month and then not say anything about it, not cool.
And not give you anything for it either.
Right. This whole thing with AI exhaustion, I mean, they've been sticking Copilot in everybody's face. They're sticking it in absolutely everything and things that probably don't need Copilot. They're shoving it in there and then saying, hey, you can see it here too. We don't care.
And I know you guys have to use Microsoft 365. I don't. And really, that's what drove me away is Copilot. I hate it.
But not only that, Larry, I know where I work, they're actually trying to push us to use more of these AI services in our daily operation and our work. Yeah. And I see the results of it in some other people's work, and I'm not impressed with the results of their work.
Yeah.
So it's getting worse.
If it is. I mean, if you're trying to make it to the point where, you can go ahead and just hire, a chimpanzee and 2 Starfleet trainees because you've got this AI thing that will go ahead and do most of it, and you just need somebody to sit and babysit the AI. That's one thing, but you're not going to AI is not, it's not the answer. All right.
You can't get away from Copilot. I know that. I mean, if you buy any high-end PC today for your business or for personal use, you're going to have a Copilot key. It's going to have AI. It's just it. But I still think they still make a good hardware product.
They make a decent hardware product.
I just ordered 2 brand new ones. I know.
The Surface PCs are in and of themselves decent computers. It's the operating system that's the problem. All right. Or areas of the operating system that are the problem. The reason why I stick with Microsoft 365 is not because I quote unquote have to. It's because it's what's the most familiar thing that I've been using in the last 30 or so years.
But Chris, the reason that those computers are good is the same reason that Apple computers are good. Microsoft controls the updates, the firmware, the drivers, everything. The user has to do nothing with a Surface.
We're talking about the Surface devices,
Surface devices,
Surface device, I'm just going back to say why it's good.
I'm kind of with Chris a little bit in the sense, but I do have to stay with Office 365 because of my job. I don't have a choice.
Right.
But Chris, you and I were talking about in the pre-show some material I sent to you using something other than Office 365 to try to see, is my comfort level good enough that I can step away to something else and be okay?
Right.
The answer is, a little fumbling, but basically, yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially if it's just basic text, you just,
if
writing.
Basic stuff, it's easy. But
even if it's formatted, the worst that I have found is maybe a font change that you don't have on Windows that you sent with Pages.
But even that, it doesn't bother me like it used to bother me a lot. Now I mostly ignore those kinds of things or correct them very quickly. And with text documents and word processing documents, it's pretty straightforward. Where you get into the glitches, to me, is in spreadsheets because there's more complexity.
Yes.
And there's more of a learning curve.
Oh, numbers is nowhere near as good. Nowhere.
But even if it was, even Google's version, Apple's version, they're not as good as Excel.
No,
Excel is a better product, despite its own. It has a series of glitches too.
Excuse me for saying it this way, but Excel is the sheet.
Yeah, but oddly, they didn't put a lot of AI.
You know what, Chris? I'm going to put that on my tab.
They never put a lot of AI in Excel like they did Word.
Book it. Book it.
Yeah, very true. Very true. There's more of an AI presence
But
in Word, but there's more people in Word than there is
but to
in.
be honest with you, you don't need it's a little
You don't
weird
need
because when
it,
you talk
right?
about a product like Excel, it's all based on formulas and things anyway. So you kind of already had some logic in there, but it's a different
True.
kind of logic.
True.
So, you don't need the AI to do it for you.
Very true. Very true. But
It's like a
yeah,
graphing calculator, let's be honest, you know?
right. Right. So the other thing though that really kind of bumbled this week that I saw, and I'm citing an article from windowslatest.com on this one. Microsoft has admitted that Windows 10 extended updates are causing issues.
No kidding.
So
You
here we
know,
are right into the end of the year and we're still having problems.
yes. Um,
Okay.
what's interesting though is number one is that right out of the gate, this was an instant fail and dumpster fire for them. The
But in
Yeah.
October, it failed in October,
Yeah, the very first update
and it's
caused
still not fixed.
was a huge bug where you couldn't get updates from this thing. Um, and if you had installed it, you were kind of screwed. And then you had to do some hokey pokey kind of crap in order to get the damn thing, to download the update or the KB that went ahead and that you ran on the computer that allowed you to unscrew the screw up that Microsoft threw at you. And now, yeah, this is more of a problem for business users than for consumers. They're saying MSMQ, which is the Microsoft message queuing service, um, which really affects businesses, as I said.
Yeah, and it's not messaging like in your text messages. It's messaging like in apps talking to each other on your
Right.
machine.
Right. Doesn't work correctly. And you would see that in an enterprise based or education based PC as opposed to a consumer based PC. And the problem here, oh geez, um, this is like you said, Chris. It's a component that allows apps or services to send messages to a queue so that other apps or services can process them later. All right. And apps that relied on it might not be able to open um, apps or sites that rely on IIS, which is, of course, the Microsoft's Internet Information Service, and is also responsible for locally hosting apps or sites. So intranets, right? Um, so there was a fix that came out for this. The biggest problem that I have with all of this, number one, is if you paid for the extended service security updates, which is the ESU program, extended security updates. Um, it costs you probably, what was it, $10 a year, $30 total, or is it $30 a year
30
and
something,
$90
Something
total?
like that.
All right,
30 something for the year.
all right, 30 something for the year. Then you uh, get these security updates for up to 3 years with this at $30 a year, and then after that you're still left with a PC that you've got to you're kicking the can down the road. You're waiting 3 years, betting that something better will come along, or that something will change and you won't have to update, or you will have enough money to buy a newer PC in 3 years or up to 3 years from now. Um, but if Microsoft can't get the updates, it can't get Windows Update to pull down these updates correctly, doing this where you're going to end up screwing up your limping along computer, um, you're going to end up shooting yourself in the foot and probably
Hey
wishing
kid, watch
you had
out! It's for
spent
that
them.
time of season. Hey, watch it, kid. You'll shoot your eye out.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
It's that time of
That was
season.
last year or last week. Yes.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
last week. Anyway, but the point here is that it's bad enough that they stopped supporting these things. Now they're making you pay for these updates, and they're still screwing things up.
Ugh.
Um,
I don't get it.
It really kind of makes you wonder who the hell is minding the store. Who did Satya give the keys to?
Or you go back to are the inmates running the asylum?
And I think that might be part of the problem.
Feels like that some days, doesn't it?
It's certain some weeks. I mean, honest to God, since we started the Mistake-a-Thon early in 2025, I don't think that there's been a week where we haven't spun the wheel.
And folks, for those of you who haven't been with us a long time, we were all very much Microsoft people at one point. So we big fans of a lot of things that they did, and so I can't even begin to tell you how disappointing this year has been for all of us.
True.
Just massively disappointing, because I don't know where they're going, and it doesn't seem like it's anywhere good. Doesn't feel that way to me.
And that's a very good point. I mean, you really have to wonder what the hell is going on in Redmond,
and how much of my energy or our energy do we want to invest in this and continuing to, fight this battle, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
if you haven't considered a distribution of Linux for your Windows 10 computer, you really need to stop and think. Seriously. If you have a computer that will not upgrade to Windows 11 and you don't want to throw the thing away because there's nothing wrong with the computer, the only thing that I've got to say to you is Linux is there, it's waiting, and it's just
but even more broadly, even if you do want to get a new computer and go to Windows 11, look very carefully at where Windows 11 has taken us in the last year, good and bad, and decide if that's where you want to be.
Yep.
Very broadly, think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe where you want to be, it may not be where you want to be.
Very true. Very true. Because honestly,
so look at it.
Because honestly, Linux is, there are the only paid version of Linux or versions of Linux that I know of are like Zorn Pro or some form of Red Hat.
Sure.
All right, but most of the others are all free and they're very well supported. And I'm not pushing Linux on anybody. I'm not.
Well, what would you push anyway? There's so many flavors of it out there. To each their own. Kind of thing.
Absolutely.
You really got to do some research there too. But
and many of them are very Windows-like. They look and feel and function like Windows. So you won't. There's not much of a learning curve. But that's just me. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to move us over now to our tip of the week segment. Before we get to this week's actual tip, I want to remind everybody that iTechGear was founded with the intent of making technology easy for everyone to use and understand. And this team specifically has dedicated their writing careers to this specific purpose. So every week we're going to have a tip here on the iTechGear Weekly. And it's going to be authored by one of our experienced editors. And if you've got questions, concerns, comments, requests, or dare I say, ideas, go ahead and send those over to tips@itechgear.org. And if we use your suggestion, we will go ahead and give you your 15 seconds worth of fame on the air and say thank you. This week, I am blessed and pleased to say that our tip is again authored by Larry, and it is called Empty the Recycle Bin or Trash. So when you delete a file in either Windows or on your Mac, it doesn't delete right away. It moves to a special folder called the recycle bin on Windows or to the trash can on your Mac. This gives you the opportunity. It takes it and moves it out of the way, but it also goes ahead and gives you the opportunity that if you need to bring it back, you don't have to go and try to recover the erased data or unerase something. It's in the recycle bin. It's in the trash can. You go and you pull it back. All right. But over time, these trash cans, these recycle bins can fill up with, gigabytes of files that you have no need for any longer. All right. They will slow your system down and they will consume or take up valuable storage. So you should make a habit of emptying that bin every so often, especially after large deletions. Just be sure that when you go ahead and you do either empty the trash or the recycle bin, that you know that you don't need those files any longer, and you're fine with setting them all on fire. Some systems will go ahead and let you set up a automatically emptying trash can or recycle bin after it gets to a certain number of days. If so, that might be a really good idea. Like after, say, 30 days, it auto empties. Or otherwise, you've just got to make certain that you keep an eye on that trash can or recycle bin, and make certain that you free up that used space and reclaim it every now and
again. There you go.
And that is our tip for this week.
Very nice.
Yeah. So, I want to move us to our pick of the week segment. And again, before we get to the actual pick, I want to take a moment and to remind everybody that our show picks are typically hardware, software, and other items of interest that we have individually purchased and that we actually use and that we like enough that we want to recommend them to you, our growing listener base. These aren't any kind of paid advertisements or anything that we have an affiliated marketing relationship with. If they were, the editorial policy over at iTechGear.org indicates that we have to let you guys know about that up front. These are just sincerely things that we believe in and that we want to bring to you at the end of each show. Why?
Because we like you.
There you go. All right, kids. Now this week we have a very, very rare pick because this is actually coming from Chris. So what have you picked for this week, Chris?
Well, it's a little unusual and it's not going to impact a large number of people, but I will tell you, for the people that it does impact, it's a big deal.
Okay.
So my pick is the new flavor of the Apple Vision Pro dual knit band. So This is the headgear that goes over your head, when you wear this Vision Pro device. And the Vision Pro is a very heavy device. And the first generation Vision Pro stuff didn't balance it very well. Their straps didn't work. And there were a lot of third-party solutions out there to try to make it better and fit better and wear better. And I found a combination of things that I was using to make it work better. But when the M5 version of this device came out, a couple months ago now,
yeah.
One of the things that they made it with it was a new band, a new headband, a new headgear kind of combination that came with it. The nice thing is that particular band, the dual knit band, they made available as an accessory for those of us who have the previous M2 based Apple Vision Pro. We can buy it and put it on ours. And to me, this is like the single best upgrade you can do to your M2 Apple Vision Pro if you have one. It is the most comfortable thing. It has a very clever design with a crossband on the top and a band on the back. But rather than complicating everything, there's a single dial on the side. Okay. If you push it in, you're adjusting the back. If you pull it out, you're adjusting the top and the tension on it. So you just use the single dial and you click it in and out. It's a very clever design, and it very, very comfortable. It really makes or breaks the difference between being able to tolerate it for a half hour or an hour versus tolerating it for a few hours.
So the original one was just around the back of your head, wasn't it?
So there were a couple of things you could do. There was the original one was just around the back, and there were third-party pieces and stuff from Apple as well that let you put a second strap across the top. But usually the two changes were this new one has one in the back and one on the top, but the one in the back is actually down and angled down a little further. So it's cupping the bottom back of your head rather than the back. So even with the back, I have folks who don't, there's no video, who you can't see that I have very long hair. So for the back strap being around me, it would slide upward.
Yeah.
So do Chris and I. We have long hair too.
Yeah. Yeah. Long time ago, I did. Yes.
Folks, I can talk to you after I can see them again. After I got to get the polishing cloth out first. Okay, let me explain this.
Very true. The glare is bad.
Yeah. The glare is bad on the video. Yeah. You're lucky you're not seeing this.
It's very true.
But I'm just kidding, guys. Of course. But the point is, so by putting that back one down a little further and making a soft top strap that basically matches and giving you a single way to control the whole thing, it really massively improves the comfort of the thing. And again, this doesn't affect the larger number of people.
Tension, all the tension used to be on the back of your head, just above the base of your skull.
Well,
right?
Worse than that. No, not even that. The problem was because it was up so high, in my opinion, I call it up high.
Yeah.
Or straight in the back. But the point was, what ended up happening was the device is very front heavy.
Yeah.
So there was no way for it to stay on the back of your head. It wants to slide up, and the front wants to slide down and puts pressure on your cheeks and your nose.
Right.
It's what it does.
It hurt your face after a while.
After a while, it did. It was and there were different, face cushions you could use and other ways and other third-party kind of headgear kind of things, bondage gear kind of things to get around it.
Sure.
But this new strap is clean. It's simple design. And it pulls further enough back that it helps.
Well, it balances. It balances. What it does is it basically balances the pressure. It puts some of the force of the weight of the goggles right on the top
and
crown of your head.
A little better,
right?
Yeah.
All right, near the not in the absolute center.
And it
right?
keeps it.
Ear-wise,
keeps it from
right?
keeps it from sliding down and putting pressure on the face.
The part on the top of your head sits in front of your ears. Right across
it does.
and goes across the crown of your head, right?
And it's a wide squishy band just like the back, so it's very comfortable.
And then it's like twice the original size in the back, and it sits down a little bit, dangled down below the base of your skull, so that it's actually sort of resting maybe at the top of your neck, if you will.
Well, you're distributing the weight a little more is what
you are,
doing
and that's the whole idea and the whole point of this particular strap.
So for me, it's $99 at the Apple store. It's the best $99 I've spent, relating to this device. It's awesome. It's a great upgrade for those of you who have an older AVP. And again, there's not a lot of you, but for those of you who have one, this is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I can truly see and understand where this is probably going to make you fall in love with the thing all over again, because you're going to be able to wear it longer, and it's not going to
it really
does hurt. Right.
It's a lot easier for me to watch a 2.5 hour movie than it was before.
Exactly.
I can sit there and watch one without it being a problem.
That's the whole point behind this, wouldn't you say?
I would say,
you
so
want
that's
to be
why
able to wear the thing and enjoy it.
So that's why I kind of put it in as a pick of the week, because it's really really a big deal. It's really a big deal.
Yeah.
And Apple, this is one of those things where Apple listened. They understood one of the complaints. And it's a very quiet, subtle kind of change.
Well, they were probably experiencing it themselves, because there have to be people there at the office in the mothership that use this thing on a regular basis.
But this is just an example, as we said, where they actually listened, paid attention, and turned around and fixed it and got it right. Yeah. Going forward. So again, that didn't really get talked a lot about it got talked about a little bit in the new release, but the fact that we could get it for the previous device really wasn't talked about very much.
No, but it's a huge win for those folks that have the original AVP.
And for the folks who want to, or if you're interested in AVPs, a lot of the used ones are actually at very good prices now.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted, you could get one and then get this strap and away you go.
Right. I mean, you'll probably be able to get it for less than half price.
Less than half price.
The actual Vision Pro, the goggles, right?
I did
get them for less than half price, right? Which was originally I think it was $3,500, so half of that, about $1,750, somewhere in that neighborhood, right?
Yep.
So less than that, and then for an additional $100, you get this brand new strap, and you're going to be cooking with gas. So
yeah, it's really a nice. If you're into this kind of technology, this is the way to go, guys. Yeah. This is it.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And there you are. And that, kids, is the show. And I actually think that's going to be it for 2025. This has been the iTechGear Weekly, episode number 157. Clippy says happy holidays, recorded live Sunday, December 21st, 2025, live from iTechGear Central for Mr. Chris Gavula, the missing Brother Joe McLaughlin, and Dr. Mr. Larry McJunkin. I want to say, hey, happy holidays, happy new year, and we'll see you in 2026.